Hey guys, I haven't posted a video in a while, so I figured it was time that I did and kind of share a little bit about my story more than you might know just by scrolling through my pictures. If you're my friend in real life or you've been following me, you know I have lupus, and you might see in my hashtags pulmonary hypertension, or sometimes I'll hashtag it pulmonary arterial hypertension. And I don't go into a whole lot of details about that particular illness, quite frankly, because that's the one that scares me the most. And it's also the reason why I'm on disability and not able to work. Not that lupus is not bad in and of itself, and not that it doesn't need awareness, and not that it isn't life altering. But for me, it's the pulmonary hypertension that keeps me from my old life, if that makes sense. So what is it? Basically what it is the internal pressures of my heart are increased. I have low blood pressure, actually very low blood pressure, which makes treating it that much more challenging because they have to be very careful what medications they give me so it doesn't drop my blood pressure any lower. And I also have autoimmune hepatitis, which again makes treating the pulmonary hypertension that much more challenging because a lot of the medications can affect my liver. So the three biggies that you'll see me hashtag is hashtag lupus SLE, hashtag pulmonary hypertension, and hashtag autoimmune hepatitis. The one I talk about the most is lupus because I think it's just easier for me to talk about. But anyway, back to what pulmonary hypertension is. Basically, the pressures in my heart have increased, reducing the oxygen in the rest of my body. So my heart has to work that much harder to get the oxygen in my blood to go where it needs to go. Yeah, pretty much. So for example, my resting heart rate, just sitting here, can be 100 beats a minute, 110 beats a minute, 120 beats a minute. And I'm kind of used to that because my heart has to beat that much harder for me to be able to live. Now, if I get up, walk across the room, sometimes my heart rate can jump up to 140 beats a minute. If I actually try physical activity and exert myself, I've seen it as high as 180 beats per minute. That's actually one of the reasons I wear one of these. It's not just to track my steps, although I'm trying to be more active, emphasis on trying. But it's also for me to check my heart rate because there's moments where, and my husband's seen it, there's moments where me just getting up and walking causes such a either drop in my blood pressure or increase in my heart rate or a combination of both that I have to grab onto something because it feels like I'm going to pass out. I am on oxygen. I don't post videos with me on my oxygen. I don't post a lot of pictures with me on my oxygen. You can hear me do that. That's me trying to get breath. It's not asthma. I think me not posting the pictures of me with oxygen is probably more my vanity or my pride than anything else. Because for the most part, now that I'm not on prednisone anymore and my face is slowly starting to look like me again and I'm trying to take the weight off again, I'm back to the, oh, but you don't look sick. But when I wear my oxygen, I look sick. And, people hold open doors for me, or sometimes I get looks from older people like, oh, that poor girl. And I hate pity looks. I hate whispers, which kind of doesn't make sense, that considering that I dyed my hair purple and obviously people are going to stare at me. I just don't like feeling sick. I don't like, well, I always feel sick, but I don't like being pitied. And I don't like people feeling bad for me. And I don't want to get those. Come on. Anybody who's chronically ill, those looks. Those looks where they either are in shock, or they don't understand why you're so young on oxygen, or instead of like coming to talk to you, they just, make their own judgments. Like when I park in the handicap spot, yes, I have a handicap sticker. And so if I park in the handicap spot, even if it's just to run into the store real quick and I don't have my oxygen on, oh my gosh, you should see the looks I get. Because, I don't look sick. When I wear my oxygen, don't get the looks. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to discuss what pulmonary hypertension was. It's not as well known as lupus, even though lupus, like I said, still needs more awareness. But I was watching TV, because I do a lot of that. So if you have any good show recommendations, let me know. But I was watching TV, and I was watching the season 2 premiere of The Good Doctor, which I love that show. And the season premiere was about a woman with pulmonary hypertension that was going into heart failure. And they were talking about, a heart transplant or a lung transplant or different things. And in the end, the episode, they ended up saying that her normal heart, there really is nothing wrong with it. So she's not really a candidate for a transplant. So they did this, mind-blowing piggyback surgery where they put another heart in her body to help her current heart pump the way it's supposed to, so that she didn't die. And yeah, I said die. And I watched that episode, and it struck home. It hit me for a lot of different reasons. It hit me because it is terminal. It is terminal. And a heart transplant wouldn't fix it, really, because the new heart that they would give me would just fail anyway under the pressure that my body's putting on it. New lungs wouldn't really fix it, because that's not the issue. It is almost like my heart needs a helper, like it needs something to help it pump better. The best way that I describe it to people is it's kind of like, no matter how amazing a car you have, or how much you baby that car, or how much you take care of that car, or how fast that car is, if you run that car full speed every single time you're in it, non-stop, eventually the engine's gonna fail. And that's what dealing with pulmonary hypertension is trying to keep your engine, aka your heart, going as long as possible. So there's medications that try to reduce the pressure. They make you feel like crap, not gonna lie. Especially somebody with low blood pressure, they make you extremely tired. Not that I'm not tired enough on my own. Come on, give me a break. But Yeah. So when you see my hashtag pulmonary arterial hypertension, or you see my hashtag pulmonary hypertension, this is what it is. And I figured for those of you that have been watching my journey, a more detailed explanation was in order. The autoimmune hepatitis, I'll talk about that later because that's a whole other issue. And no, you can't catch it. And no, I didn't get it from needles. And no, I didn't get it because I was too sexually active. Autoimmune hepatitis is just that. My body attacked my liver and caused it to be inflamed. So therefore, I gave myself a form of hepatitis. Cool. So for all my lupus warriors, for all my spoonie warriors, for all my beautiful butterflies out there, keep on fighting. We still have to keep raising awareness. We still have to keep trying to get more funding. And don't forget to ask your doctor the hard questions, because sometimes I went misdiagnosed with my pulmonary hypertension for a few years. They blamed it on autoanemia. They blamed it on me being overweight. They blamed it on so many things until I finally found one doctor, and it was actually at the Cleveland Clinic in Weston, Florida. So thank you. Shout out to Cleveland Clinic Weston for saving my life. That doctor finally just took one look at me, and he was an older man. And he took one look at me, he took one look at my charts, and said, no, this is pulmonary arterial hypertension. We're going to do a test, and we're going to get you to a specialist. And if you look at my doctor, who I have now up at USF, shout out to USF Health, you guys are awesome. His specialty is lung transplants. So that kind of gives you an idea. And I'm not saying that they couldn't do a transplant, and I'm not saying that that might not be in my future at some point, but it's kind of like no matter what they do, it's only gonna last so long. So I'm believing for medical breakthroughs. I'm believing for healing. I'm believing, that God's gonna continue to help me through all of this and help me process it. And whether my healing comes supernaturally and the doctors go, hey, we don't know why you're cured, but you're cured, or whether my healing comes through an amazing new medicine breakthrough, it doesn't really matter, because God can use all tools and all physicians and all medications, which is kind of why I still have such a positive attitude most of the time. Although if you ask my husband, he might disagree. So shh. But most of the time I try to have a positive attitude, because I really believe that I'm going to be okay. No matter what. No matter what happens. If the cure takes a year, if the cure takes 5 years, if the cure doesn't come, I'm going to be okay. And I love all of you for following me. I hope that I inspire you a little bit, or at least make you laugh every now and then. And be blessed. Prayer works. And bye.